What is going on, everybody? It is episode 4 of Sup Homeslice. Man, we just had the first round of the NBA draft last night. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk a little bit of MLB. I think we got about 6 late games that we'll get into here. See a couple people on, man. Thanks for joining us, Daniel, Coach, everybody else that's popping on live. We appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to dig into the NBA draft first, but with no further ado, let's bring in IDP Iggy as always. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up, man? How's it going? Thanks for having me here, I guess, on the show. It's just going to be you and I, just the two of us. But we'll make it through, and as always,
make it if we try.
Yeah, man. And Coach out there, Daniel, you guys, anybody that wants to pop in, go ahead and just get some comments flowing. We are going to recap NBA Draft 1. They're starting Draft 2, like right now. So we will be trying to busting in some names when we see some names drop that we're excited to talk about. But some pretty big hits last night, and then we have a pretty good slate of baseball later today with the MLB. As always, you can go catch Coach's DFS and his kind of cheat sheet over there as well for the DFS for the MLB. So you still got time to go hop on that, maybe on the afternoons only or something like that, and get on it. But right now, let's focus on the NBA, man. What are your biggest takeaways from round 1?
Yeah, so, I mean, as the draft is going, I know Coach is probably really following along, so feel free, Coach, to drop in some round 2 picks and any thoughts you got on some of these late round guys, because I'll plug Coach real quick, man. Nobody knows these deep round processes. MLB, football, and basketball. Coach is about as deep and knowledgeable as it gets, so feel free, Coach, to drop them in there. But as far as the first round goes, man, not much excitement at the top. I think kind of the way we thought the cookie would crumble, if you will. Alex Sarr didn't want to go. I mean, only worked out for Washington. I'm not sure what the liking is there so much, other than maybe he's just going to play, but I'm sure he'd play in Atlanta too. I would say out of the top 5, man, I really like the Spurs pick. I like Castle going there from UConn. I think that he plays alongside Wemby real well. If there's one knock on him, you could say he doesn't shoot the 3 ball well, but he can learn that part of his game. But this is a guy, man, who is, 6'6", a guy that plays defense, a guy that can get to the basket. And we got to remember, man, UConn didn't need this guy to score, right? He still averaged 11 points per game on that championship team. But I think he has the skill set, man, that really translates to the NBA. I think he's a great pick right there. Like I said, nothing really shook up there. You have anything in the top 5 that you are surprised or really like or don't like?
I guess with Washington, they dealt off Danny Avijay, right? Is that how you say his last name? They dealt him. Yeah, they dealt him off, so they're going to have a big need there. I think Alex Sarr steps up and plays some immediate minutes. Could be in some fouls, could get some rebounds. It'll be interesting to see how Washington does it. But, I mean, come on, dude. We were betting against Washington, take the center. It was like one of our automatic bets, dude. And so I just think that they knew what they had to get better at. We knew what they had to get better at, and they went and addressed that issue. And I think that's some of what we have going on right here with Washington. Nothing really popping out to me. The French dominating. We shall see if the French can win at Paris, man. How shocking would that be? We'll be talking about that another Thursday, though. But nothing that just really jumped out at me. Donovan, I felt like he could have gone a little earlier, but maybe they feel like he's more maxed out than Sarr. We'll see.
Yeah, I think, man, I don't know about Klingon, man. I don't know how much he translates over. I know there was talk of him even going to Atlanta. I don't think they obviously didn't need to take him as high as 1. They could have traded back if they wanted to go that route. You got Aiden over there. I don't know, man. I'm not convinced that he translates into the NBA. I don't know if that was Portland's best pick. They need a lot of help, and I don't know if that was the best direction for them, but I guess time will tell. After that, these next 2 picks were the 2 first trades of the night. Obviously, Minnesota, I think for the T-Wolves, man, we saw in the playoffs what hurt Minnesota was the lack of scoring, right? They didn't have another option outside of Ant, and Cat, and it showed, right, in that series with Dallas. They could not get any offense going. I don't know how you feel about it. Maybe they gave up too much. Maybe they didn't, but they went and got a guy that is not going to impress you on defense, but he's what you want to call a microwave scorer, right? Dillingham is all offense all the time. He can come in, light it up in a hurry. And I think the T-Wolves believe, right, we're in a win now window, right? We have Conley. We made the moves for Gobert. We have our star players. So what is it that we need? We need offense off the bench. We can't go into a series like that and not score, 100 points. Like, we're not going to win, the Western Conference if we can't score. Defense is great. So I like it. I think that maybe they gave a little bit, but I think they went and got a scoring option who can come in right away, man, and be a scorer in this league. And then obviously we have Edey, the trade below. Right. I don't know what you think about Edey, so let me know what you think about the Dillingham deal, and then I'll let you break down Edey a little bit.
I hated it. I can't stand it. Mike Conley was, in my opinion, their weakest link from an on-court perspective. So they went and got 2 guards to help that and didn't really give up anything. Like, they ended up with 2 first-round picks. I just can't stand it really, but I think it's a good move by them. I think Dillingham comes in and plays some great minutes relatively soon. I don't know if he'll be a defensive liability at 6'1". It's a little unique. They don't really go that small. Minnesota, that is. So, we'll just have to take a look at it. But I thought it was a great move. And then as far as Zach Edey goes, I mean, I talked about it last night. I covered it with the Grumbling Media. The buzzer beater, if you want to go check that out. I was on with them for a couple hours yesterday, breaking down the first round. And Zach Edey, man, when it happened, we were like, well, not ready for it. A little early, but I started thinking, I was like, man, go back to the Rudolph days. You go to the Steven Adams days. It's just such in their pedigree to go get a big center. And for people to be so hard on that, I don't get it. I think it's a great pairing with Ja Morant. I think now Triple J becomes a little bit, you don't have to put all the defense solely on him. Now you got a guy that can go and play the rim. But the truth is the West is just so brutal, man. I don't know how many wins it helps them get. They were a second-ranked Western Conference team a couple years ago. But I think it's a good pairing with Ja Morant. I honestly do. And Edey understands the fundamentals of the game. He might be somewhat of a defensive liability if, they play switch defense, but a good coach is going to try to avoid that. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was a good pick. I also thought Kobe Williams was a good pick. I thought he fell down way too far on this draft. Us watching Colorado talking about him for that late season push. I think the Jazz got a great defensive player. And the Jazz are going to be really good in a couple of years. They got some really great defenders. So we'll have to see how that's going. I mean, we gotten into some pretty good picks here, with Bucelis and Nikola Topic, Topic. How do you think about what are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, I mean, you see Coach there talking about the Bulls getting a steal. I mean, Buzelis definitely has, the upside, right, of some of these players in the draft. I mean, I think the Bulls made a great pick, right? I mean, now you're looking at, Kobe White. They made the Giddey move. They now have Buzelis. They've got, Dawson Moo. They've got Patrick Williams. My question kind of is with Chicago now is like, because of the star capability of this player, right, of Buzelis, I think he could be a great pick at 11 and a guy that can come in and impact the game. Do the Bulls rebuild with that young core, or do they try to bring back, do they stick with Levine? And I know we saw DeRozan is in free agency. They still could bring him back. Like, would this be enough of a young core for them to say, well, let's bring these stars back and try to run it back, which has kind of been an ongoing question, right? We talked about 2 seasons ago, this Bulls team trading DeRozan, trading Levine, breaking it all up. And they've yet to fully do that, right? They traded Caruso, but went and got Giddey, who they wanted for this team. And so now, like I said, with those 5 guys, I mean, you could argue bringing back their star players and almost trying to run it back again. And do you think they do that, or do you think that they still break it up, let DeRozan walk, try to find a partner for Levine, and go rebuild a little more?
Well, I think, they were trying to let Levine go. I thought they got fleeced with Caruso. I thought Josh Giddey, he can be on the ball a little bit more, and he brings some height to the Chicago Bulls. But, I mean, you're giving up an excellent defender. I just wasn't happy with that trade. Okay, another Northwest team got better in the backcourt. I thought that was an interesting move, but then they go get, Mateus, and I think he will. I think Levine's going to be gone one way or another, even if they have to just take a bad deal and just take it on and dish him off. And I think the question goes: do they keep DeRozan? Do they keep Vukovic? And I think the answer is yes. I mean, I don't know. DeRozan could walk. He's getting kind of later in his career, but him and Vukovic do have some kind of a rapport. You got two decent rebounders right there. So, I think there's potential for Chicago. I just don't expect much out of them next year. We'll just have to see how that goes. And as far as Nikola Topic goes, I think it was a great fit. I think, he's him going to the Thunder. It's going to be a pretty good fit, especially with them getting rid of Giddey. They got somebody that has height, 6'6", another great defender. Is a better ball handler, and I think it fits what they need. Devin Carter going to Sacramento. I guess they're just focusing on the backcourt. I felt like they needed to focus on the forward position, get some replacements for Barnes and so forth. Man, what just happened here? So we got a pick. Oh, wait, they're on the clock. That's what happened.
And I'll say, too, I wanted to mention on Edey, too, and I like what Coach said right there. I like the fit for Edey to be a guy that comes off the bench, spell, Jaren Jackson. Also can play with Jackson, I think. Jackson can stretch the floor. We've seen him love to shoot the three ball. But that's my issue right there, too, Coach, is like number 9 for a backup center who's going to eat a few minutes, who might play a good role. But, that's what he is. He's a 20-minute kind of player, and you went top 10 to find that. I do have an issue with that, even though I think the fit is okay. I think you mentioned, Iggy, that mobility, lack of mobility, and defensive liability is going to come into play, and so he can only be on the court so much. That's a pretty high reach for a guy. The only thing I like about that is his under 15.5 was the only prop I placed on a draft player. I wish I would have done top 10 because it was plus 750, but I did not see him going in the top 10. I thought he might fall down to maybe 15 at Miami. I know there's a little talk about the Lakers getting some added help, right? We know AD is really more of a 4. Edey could have been an option there. I think they reached a little, man, but
what do you think about Dalton Connect at the 17th pick? Do you think that was just the fall? As a Lakers fan, are you happy about it? What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, when we talk about the Lakers, we've talked about them needing, a 3-and-D. They've looked for 3-and-D players across the board, the last handful of years. Dalton Connect is that man. This man is a scorer. He's versatile. He is a 3-and-D player. I mean, a first-team All-American, first-team All-SEC, SEC Player of the Year. I just think I think the minute that pick fell to them, it was a no-brainer in the room, right? Pelinka and everybody, there was no questions asked. We're getting Connect. He fits this system, and he's got the bounce, man, a 39-inch vertical. He can attack the rim as well. I don't know how many other players that would be available really fit what this Laker team wants to do, assuming it's AD and LeBron, running it back. I mean, I know we talk about the LeBron drama. I'm pretty sure he will be a Laker. So assuming that's the case, I think Dalton Connect brings exactly what this team needs. And I don't think that they thought he would be there. De Silva was a guy they talked about maybe getting. I would have been fine with that too. But I think this guy was talked about maybe going at 6 to Charlotte, maybe falling to San Antonio at their second pick, being a lottery guy. And if we're talking about one of the best college basketball players whose game does translate over, right? We talk about the big men in Edey and Klingon, maybe not translating over the same way, right? Drew Timme the year before. Where's that guy, right? The big guys in college are not really finding a spot in the NBA. But Dalton Connect, a 3-and-D player, I love it as a Laker fan, and just from a basketball perspective, if you look at what the Lakers want to do, Laker fan or not, I think it was a great pick, man.
Yeah, I think, I was surprised that he fell, and I could tell when he did, exactly what the Lakers are going to do. You saw the reaction in the room yesterday. They were just thrilled as can be. Great move for the Lakers. Great move for the Timberwolves. Like I said, I think they got better as well. And then we'll wrap up the first round, man. I just want to talk about Jaron Holmes. The Denver Nuggets went from 28 to the 22nd pick, and I did so with intent because in my mind, I saw the Knicks right there with back-to-back picks. They ended up trading back, of course, but I thought they would for sure get a center. And said they went 2 forwards, and I'm pretty sure, the Nuggets front office was thinking the same, knew that Phoenix was in a need. gave away both the first round pick of this year, I believe the second round pick of this year as well. So Nuggets went in on their guy. And we were talking about him from Dayton during the tournament. Like, oh, man, this kid's just a one-man wrecking crew over here for Dayton. Who did they play that they upset? Didn't they upset somebody in the first round?
They upset Arizona in the second round.
Second round, and they played Akron in the first round, I think. Maybe not, but I want to say they played somebody regionally close to Ohio still. But, yeah, they upset Arizona is what it was. And one-man wrecking crew, we saw Deron Holmes ready to go. I had his stats. Here it is. I have my draft notes from yesterday. One of the guys I was looking at, I was looking at 80, looking at Flipkowski. I think he's a good, interesting guy. We'll get to him here in a little bit. But Khalil Ware, we didn't really talk about him, went to Miami. I thought that was a great move. Now you can get Bam less minutes or maybe even put Bam in a 4 if you want. I thought that was a great move by Miami. We didn't really highlight it, but 20.4 points, 8.5 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and he was shooting 41% from 3 points, averaging 5 3-point attempts per game. I mean, it just fits the mold for everything Denver needs in that second unit. Now I feel like even if Christian Braun goes with the first unit, if KCP signs elsewhere, you still have Watson, you still have Reggie Jackson, and you now have Holmes. So, it's already Holmes and Watson over here. They're already playing on that theme over here in Denver. So we'll have to have a great Scott button or something, something along the lines of Sherlock Holmes over there, because I thought it was a great pick. If they need done a great forward and at their 28th pick, but I think this was great. We saw Jokic run out of gas in Game 7, and hopefully that won't be the case now with this new center. So, any other closing?
I wrote right here, Deron Holmes, man, can shoot the 3 ball. He does it all. Pass, shoot, and dribble. He's the perfect fill-in to help and extend Jokic's window on this team. I think you nailed it right there, and I think it was a great pick. And I think, to mention, because you nailed it on the head, I love it. I also think 2 things. They need to bring KCP back. I don't think you can let him walk, man. They got to find a way to make that work. Thought the same thing about Bruce Brown. I don't know, man. Those guys are just guys you want to have. I really think they need to have him there. On the other side of this, the other team was Phoenix, right? And quietly they go and get Ryan Dunn from Virginia. This guy might be one of the best defenders in the draft. He's not going to do anything offensively, but if we look at this Phoenix team, they don't need another scorer, right? That's something they should have plenty of, and I think this was the right move for both sides. So I think quietly, man, that Dunn pick for the Suns to get a guy that can go out and really defend the perimeter, really help that team defensively was probably one of their weakest links in Phoenix. So I like it for them too. Great trade for both sides, man. What's up, Disco? Yeah. Thanks for joining us, man. Happy to have you, brother.
Do you think Bronny tells teams not to draft him now so he can just sign with the Lakers? I don't think he tells anybody not to draft him. You want to be drafted as a player. But I think the Lakers could trade back if they have a second-round pick. I think they do. I have it in front of me. I loaded it up for the bet so we can
Lakers, get they're 55 or 56. But Iggy and I were talking about this before the show was at that point, the draft is about to be over, right? There's, 60 picks. In the draft. I mean, at this point, if nobody else is going to take Bronny, I mean, maybe not to draft him, but do the Lakers just draft somebody else at that spot and then just bring Bronny in after the draft? Like, if they don't need to pick him there, if nobody else is going to pick him in the last 4 or 5 spots after the Lakers, then why not just wait, right? And so that's what I think we might see. We may see him go undrafted. The Lakers grab somebody else with that pick and then bring in Bronny right after the draft as we see that happens, plenty often, right? We're going to see teams bring guys in as soon as the draft ends. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens to Bronny. As far as telling teams, I don't know. I mean, how many teams are really in on him in this second round? That's a question we don't really know the answer to. But I think that, we saw, Austin Reeves do that same thing, right? He didn't want to be drafted late. And so my only question with Bronny is, does he even have to tell teams? Like, are there that many teams actually interested in picking Bronny James, or are we just being told that that's the case? So I think Coach makes a good point on players doing that. I just don't know if Bronny needs to do that. He just may not get drafted.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're looking at. In the second round pick, first off the board, Jonathan Mogul out of San Francisco, power forward, 6'6", 217. Don't really have a lot of my notes on him right now, Coach, or if you got something on him. Then Utah Jazz pick is in. I'll be interrupting as soon as we get picks just to let people know. I do think we need to keep an eye on Kyle Filipowski. I think there's a lot to develop there. Portland looks like they're attacking the center position. Milwaukee could get him right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota even takes him. New York Knicks, Indiana. I don't see him making it out of that top 10 list. But we'll keep an eye on that. Second round talk. We'll be going throughout the night. Let's see a good handful of players, Coach says. And then we're going to switch to MLB right after this. Talk about some good games. Going to build the pizza parlay from there. Evan probably going to be bringing the base ingredients here. I got Jose Berrios is somebody we'll be talking about. But right here, a good handful of players. We'll tell teams not to draft them so they can choose where they can sign. Agree, Coach. And then he said Kansas, his draft year told them not to draft him. And there is still the kid from Kansas still out there, Coach, in this year's draft. So we'll see how it goes. It's kind of crazy how much power the NBA has given to his players through the LeBron James era and what he's been able to do. Kyle Filipowski, there he goes to Utah, man. I knew he wasn't going to last too long. Utah, once again, killing this draft. They got about 13 first-round picks before 2031. Get ready. The Northwest Division is just going to keep getting better as we go. But before that, a little word from our sponsor, and then we'll switch it right into the MLB. Okay, Evan, sound good?
Let's go.
Here we go.
Boom, there we go. And I know we had Disco asking there, how are the Raptors looking? I mean, they took the guy out of Baylor, Jacoby Walter. I think it was a good pick, another 3-and-D player, a guy that can plug into the lineup, right away. Definitely plenty of upside there. I think he was ranked a little bit higher on most people's draft boards. So to get him there I think they were at 19. I like that pick, and I think Toronto just picked right now, right? They had the first pick of the.
They had Jonathan Mogul. You can see it right there, pulling it up for us. Like I said, Kyle Filipowski. We will be looking at Milwaukee's picks. Filipowski, 16.4 points, 8.3 rebounds at Duke. Something to take a look at as well. But let's go ahead and get into the MLB talk tonight. Some games going on right now. Like I said, we are going to build a pizza parlay out of this today. So a lot of good MLB action tonight. I think an interesting game is Toronto at New York, or Yankees at Toronto, actually. Yankees coming off a pretty heartbreaking loss against the Mets. Our guy Deontay was pretty happy about that. But we also have Texas. We got Miami at Philadelphia at 4:20 Mountain Time. These are all Mountain Times. Rangers at Orioles, 4:35. Yankees at Blue Jays, 5:07. Reds at Cardinals, I believe. That's a rivalry in the NL. That's at 5:45. Got the Cleveland Guardians at the Kansas City Royals at 6:10, and then wrapping it up tonight, Detroit Tigers at Los Angeles Angels. Anything right in there that just pops off your mind that you just see that you think we should talk about?
I mean, obviously the Phillies are playing the Marlins. I don't think there's, Zach Wheeler's been phenomenal all season long. I think it's a pretty obviously anything can happen, but I like Zach Wheeler today, man. This Miami Marlins lineup, they're not very good against righties or lefties, but Wheeler should be able to have a field day. I mean, he's expected to pitch, pretty much
20 and a half. Yeah.
I mean, he's expected to go 7 innings in this game. For him to record a win right now is at minus 135. This Phillies offense should be able to put up runs, and Wheeler, give them 7 strong innings. I expect the Phillies to win this game pretty easily, and to get a minus 135 on a stud pitcher like Wheeler, I do like that look. His over 7.5 Ks is at plus money. I think that it's he might be right underneath that number. If you trust Wheeler's Ks, I do like that, but I just like for him to record a win. I think he's able to manufacture through this lineup. Coach is mentioning that he got lit up by the Marlins. He just got lit up, I think, recently by Baltimore too, but I don't see this Marlins offense or lack of offense doing that again. I expect Wheeler to make the adjustments and pitch well through this game. Does he pitch 21 outs and get 7 innings? Might be close. I think he definitely gives you 6+ strong. And to me, the Phillies will be winning at that point. So I like him to record a win there, Iggy.
Yeah, I tried to find it on my book. I can't find it. Would it be under main props or player props?
Should be under pitcher props.
I don't have a pitcher.
For what it's worth, Coach, it's not worth anything. No, I'm just kidding. In this case, there's plenty of times I believe it is worth it. And I always like looking at, first time somebody faced the team and what happened. But I do not like the Marlins offense at all.
There it is. Pitcher to record the win. I got it right there. Zach Wheeler's -145. I am using Bet365 right now. So we're going to build that prop. I'll say my prop I like. I do think when we go back to the Yankees game, the Yankees at, the Orioles, not the Orioles, man, the Blue Jays. Throwing in a Canadian prop for a guy just goes there. It's pretty tight on the line, 115 on the money line for the Blue Jays plus 115. Yankees at -135. Aaron Judge has just been on one. I think he's going to be hard to stop out. But I'm looking at the pitcher outs here too. Looking at another, pitcher prop for us, and Jose Berrios, man, is under 17.5, so that would be under 6 innings pitch. He's right around there. He does get 6 innings quite often. He does have 5.1, 5.2, which is what we need. But if he gets a few hits off of him, gets a few runs allowed, maybe they pull him even in the 4th. Against the Yankees, Yankees might play a little better than they did against the Orioles, counting on that. I hate betting against the Yankees or with the Yankees. It's kind of a no-no, but I thought 17.5. I feel like the Yankees can get him out of there before then. So adding that right now, we're up plus 229 on this pizza parlay. What else you got for us, my man?
I like that, man. I don't trust Carlos Rodon. I've not ever really been a huge fan. I mean, he's looked good at times. I don't trust him in this matchup. And the Blue Jays, to me, are just one of those kind of streaky teams that is underachieving, but they do have bats in their lineup that I think can, score at any time too. So they're just I don't like anything on that matchup against each other on the money line, but I do like the Berrios look. I do like this Yankees offense. They're the best, I believe, still number one against right-handed pitching. I know they've struggled a little bit as of late, but these guys can rake, man. And what Berrios pitches, man, I mean, Verdugo, Volpe, Soto, Judge, all of those guys can rake. I think they match up well against Berrios. And my Berrios play today that I really like is over 2.5 earned runs. I know we won't add that into the parlay because we got the under the outs, but I like Berrios over 2.5. I think regardless of how Rodon pitches, if he's dominant and the Yankees win, great. I think the Yankees put 3 up on Berrios at least, and that puts that prop in a good spot. I could see Rodon. I hear you, Coach. He could dominate this lineup and be lights out, but I don't trust it to trust the Yankees on the money line, and I'm also not going to back Berrios and take the Blue Jays. So I like the Yankees offense to get 3 runs across the board on Berrios in that matchup. I'm staying away from the money line, and I'm staying away from Rodon just because he can be filthy, but he also can have his bad days. So I'm not confident there with everything else we got on the board.
I do want to say real quick, that is at -105 over on Bet365. Jose Berrios over 2.5 runs given up. Runs, I guess, is a technical term. So.
Coach mentioned the Baltimore game. I don't have anything on that. I mean, Baltimore's got Texas today. I know Corbin Burns is on the hill. I believe it's John Gray pitching for Texas today. I think I would lean Baltimore with Corbin on the mound. Obviously, anytime Corbin Burns goes, I think Baltimore is a good look. But don't really have much on that game. Moving into one of the other matchups, you brought up Reds Cardinals. I know, Andrew Abbott has pitched pretty well. His Cardinals offense has been better overall lately, but Abbott's quietly been decent. I think he'll pitch okay. Miles Michaelis on the other side. I'm going back in this game, man. I'm going to Ellie De La Cruz. I liked him yesterday against the Pirates to go over 1.5 total bases. He hit a laser, man, 104 miles an hour. That was just should have been an RBI double, woulda, shoulda, coulda. He's still hitting the ball well. He hits right-handed pitching at an impressive rate. Lefties slug great against Michaelis. So I'm going right back to Ellie De La Cruz today, man, over 1.5 total bases. That's one of my favorite plays. That's all I got in that game.
Do you want to add that to the parlay or no?
Oh,
it's at plus 120. It's at plus 120.
That or the other play I really like. I think I like that. Let's add Ellie De La Cruz. I mean, that's my one play on that game.
And then just in case there's people not new to or not familiar with baseball betting, total bases, would that mean he has to score a double? Does that mean he has to take a double, or does that mean he can get there with 2 singles?
He could get there with 2 singles. He could get there with a triple, a double. He could hit a dinger, which would be nice. I might sprinkle that as I did yesterday. I think I might just run that back exactly the same way and try to get my money back today and some. But, yeah, anyway, he gets, 2 singles, a double, a triple. But, yeah, it's got to be through hits. A walk does not count on this. This is total bases via the hit. So if he gets a single and a walk, that's 2 total bases on the day, but that would not be a win on this prop for anybody that is not familiar with that.
Right. Okay. Nice, so there we go.
Yeah, the number would not be plus money if the walk was in there for sure. So got to be hits combined. Hopefully, though, like I said, he hit that laser yesterday. I think he, gets a hold of 1 today out of his 4 at bats, hits something to the gap, maybe clears the wall, gets us a double or a home run, and we hit that prop, man.
Okay, real quick before we continue on, I just want to give an update. The Milwaukee Bucks did take Tyler Smith. I thought, G League player, 6'9", 224, a little lean, but 6'9" gives them the height they like in Milwaukee. I thought Milwaukee had an interesting pick with the young kid in the first round, but they kind of back it up with more of a solid, proven player right here at the 33rd pick. Pretty good pick by them. Portland has their pick in. We'll get to that here in a minute. Go ahead, Evan. Please take us back to the baseball.
Yeah, man, that guy with Milwaukee, too, man. I saw that they didn't invite him to the green room, man. It's a possible first-round pick, but he did get seats with his family in the stands, so I thought that was pretty cool, man, for him to, get the tickets, go, be in attendance, and then get called up, from the audience as a first-round pick, not being in the green room. I thought that was just kind of a nice little kind of bet on yourself moment for a kid that believed he'd be taken, and so that was pretty cool to see. So, yeah, we went over, Reds, Cardinals. I like the Ellie De La Cruz play. Not sure which side I lean there. I'm not touching that. I think I like Abbott a little bit better, but I'm staying away from that play. Moving on, we got Cleveland and Kansas City. I like this matchup. You got Lively and Waka going. I think this should be a pretty good pitching matchup in this game. Guardians' offense isn't crazy impressive. Royals have really struggled offensively as of late. Ben Lively, 2 or fewer runs in 5 of his last 6 outings. The under is 2-1-1 in his last 4 starts, 7-4-1 in his last 12 assignments. Waka, they've been under in his games the last 5-0, 7-0-1 for the under for Waka. In the last 8 games, 8-4 in the past 12 starts. I think both these guys pitch well. I like Lively and Waka to both be on their game. I think that I do like Jose Ramirez and Steven Kwan against Waka in this matchup. Coach says super streaky. He's been under in most of his contests. In this Royals lineup, to me, man, I just think they're 3-7 in their last 10 games. They're not putting up offense right now. I think in this moment, with the lack of offense the Royals have been putting up, I do trust Lively to still keep them under that 4-run mark. I don't know who wins this game, but I think that Waka and Lively can both pitch well. I think they can both get into that 5-6 inning mark. I think that I like the under in this game. It's at 9. So, if it ends on 9, you do get that push instead of 8.5. Obviously, that wouldn't be a win, but we are getting that extra half there. I believe it was at -120. So I like the under 9 in that game. I think that a couple guys in the lineup, Coach brought up Josh Naylor as well. I like Ramirez and Steven Kwan in that matchup. I think those guys might do a little bit of damage off him, but I think both these teams overall are able to be kind of kept at bay. So I do like the under 9 in Guardians, Royals. Not real confident on a side there. I think Lively could get going. I give him the edge a little bit. Coach mentioned the streakiness, so I'm staying away from picking that side. But I like the under 9 team game total there, Iggy.
All right, man. I love it. Breaking it down, the MLB action for us in a way only Evan can. Really appreciate you breaking it down. I do got one more little thing right here. We'll just share it. Right. If you didn't see the commercial, it is for the TSA bets via Drafters, man. You can go in there and you can get in the $15, get you a chance to win, $500,000 in the $2.5 million draft. I did one yesterday. I'll do one probably later today. That was a $15 yesterday. They also have the $2 mini. You can hop on that as well. $2. Go get your draft in. Get prepared for fantasy football season. Evan and I will be talking a lot of fantasy football, particularly for Thursday night football. We are looking at one of your premier host for the NFL kickoff. We will have everything ready for you early September. Have the bets going, every special from every book we can find, including drafters. All right. So I do have this. The good thing I like about drafters, you don't have to worry about making something the same game. You just pick two things you think are going to happen. We already talked about Berrios right here, and then we talked about Rodon as well. I think they're both going to get pulled before the start of the 6th inning. I don't think they go all the way through the 5th inning. So that's just my take on it. This is a 3-for-1. When you put two together, you get 3 times the value. So, $1 gets you $4, is what you would win. So take a look at it. I like building little 2 legs like this. I like going against the pitchers, two good hitters. You got 2 great hitters on these teams. Those guys alone, if they get a big swing, get 4 runs, let's say 3 runs, that kind of persuades the general manager to go to the relief over there and get somebody that can get in there and handle the business a little better, if you will. So we'll see how it goes. We have Wendell Moore, looks like, to the Pistons for pick 37. Let's go back. I do believe I had it. Let's see. Not my email, not what people want to see, but we do have the tracker loaded, Evan. And yeah, just any closing thoughts you may have or anything like that. Before we get out of here today. Oh, the pizza parlay. How could we forget? I did it. I'm about to place a bet.
While you're doing that, Iggy, just on the 2 plays you had, just remember, man, go to Drafters. That's where that bet is being placed right there on that 2-leg that Iggy just showed. Go in. If you don't have an account with Drafters, man, sign up. Use the promo TSA Bets. Double that initial deposit there for you, up to $100. Drop those 2 legs. You can make them bigger as well. You can add to those plays, but got to be at least 2 plays there. Go on, ride with Iggy, make your own, drop some winning slips for us. Let us know what you like, man. You got some other plays on any of these MLB games. We'd love to hear it. Yeah, Coach mentioned the game in Kansas City helps the under. Definitely a ballpark that you like playing the under. I don't know what the numbers are now, but through the beginning of the season, they were one of the best ballparks for the under there, so I like that look. Only other game we were thinking about, I will mention real quick, Tigers and Angels tonight. Jack Flaherty on the mound, ex-Cardinal there in Detroit. Having a very good season for the Tigers, has been striking out batters. He's looked good, man. The Angels lineup, they've won a few games recently, but I'm not impressed. If you're looking for a little lean on some plus money, Flaherty to record the win in that game is plus 120. His over 6.5 strikeouts is a little juiced. It's up to minus 145. I do like it, though. Other than one of the games he left due to injury and a high pitch count, he's hit over this number in most of his starts this season. I think he gets a good look here. So I like Flaherty over 6.5 Ks for anybody looking at that game. And if you want a little lead in there, I think Flaherty, I think the Tigers offense, I don't trust them, but I think they get a couple runs here at plus money. Hey, why not? And Coach mentioned Flaherty. Yeah, granted Ohtani existed. Yeah, a little bit different Angel team, right? But Flaherty's looked good this year, man. And he's had his times, mentioned like Lively being streaky. Flaherty, too, man, has had times where he has had those ups and downs in his career. Been a little more consistent this year with Detroit. So, like I said, I like that play today as kind of a lean for anybody that's looking at that game. Hey, dig into it, man. One thing I can say a lot of times with betting, and I like to do this with people I like, even something Iggy gives out or something Coach gives out, I'm looking at that game myself. And what I do is if what they say confirms kind of what I was thinking, then I feel really good about riding, right? It's not just a blind, hey, I might blind tail some of these guys, but for the most part, best way to do it, man, is have what you think. Go to somebody you like and trust, and if it confirms what you like on that game, then at that point, I'm like, cool, confirmation. We already know, man, hitting bets is not an easy thing to do. Hitting 50 or 60% makes you great. So there's always variables, right? So do your homework, ask any questions, man. We're always here. Drop some comments. If you got a question about a game, man, let us know. Hit us up on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. We love chopping it up. So,
yeah, and I saw Roger Federer. He was giving a speech, and he said, I was fortunate enough to win. Like I think he said 78% of his matches or 84% of his matches, but his points. If you don't know how tennis works, every 0, 15, 15, 30, et cetera, he only won 54% of them. And it's like you've got to have next serve mindset, next defense, next volley mindset, and you have to play everything you can for that bet, but then realize you're going to have another one coming up after that. And here's the pizza parlay. It comes in at plus 625. You got to love those odds. Zach Wheeler, we said that he's going to get the win. Okay, he's scheduled to go 20 and a half innings. You have to pitch 5 innings to get the win. I still believe that's true with baseball. And then we took videos. We took under 17 and a half outs, saying he'll pitch 5 innings, but he won't pitch 6. Okay, and then Ellie De La Cruz, we took over 1.5 total bases at plus 120. Really gave this a boost, like I said, 3-fold. So we're making a simple pie here. We got the simple ingredients of, you always get the bread, you always get the sauce, you always get the cheese. We're just keeping it simple with extra cheese, pepperoni, maybe a little hamburger meat, actually, man, in honor of St. Louis. I guess we could put barbecue on it, but there's a lot of cows that got delivered over there back in the day. So we'll just stick with the hamburger meat. $16 bet, man, returns $116.11. Not a bad payday for a bet. If you want to go that route, I don't recommend putting anything over half a unit, on this bet. Parlays are difficult to hit, but I feel really good about this one. We were successful with the bet we built 2 weeks or last week. Hopefully we can be successful again with this one, man. Please give us a follow, like Evan said, at the Sports Affiliate on X or on Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Then we have the sportsaffiliation.com. We have the Discord. Remember, TSA bets, matches your deposit up to $100. We do a lot of drafting on there. And we have the bet we just mentioned. Quick recap. Tyler Smith to the Milwaukee Bucks. Tyler Kolek from Marquette. Excellent player. I think that Portland, we'll see if Chauncey Billups can get the best out of him, right? Point guard should be able to drop the knowledge. And then coach's guy right here, Johnny Furphy. I don't know if that's how you say it or not. Johnny Furphy going to San Antonio as they continue to build around Victor Wembanyama. Juan Nunez out of Spain going to the Pacers. And, the pick is in for Minnesota. So if you're interested in that, just go follow along. Evan, any last words?
So does Bronny James get drafted? Does he get drafted by the Lakers, or is he undrafted?
I think he goes undrafted. Yeah.
I think and then signs with the Lakers?
I would imagine the Lakers signing, maybe the Mavericks signing. Mark Cuban's such a nice guy. If he still has any pull, right there, he could just pull a fast one and go sign Bronny. I think that'd be interesting. Billups a terrible coach. I know, Coach, you don't like Billups. Not. Yeah, you're not the biggest Billups fan. I think he's good. I just think Portland sucks. How good is he supposed to be without Damian Lillard? He's not going to be that good, I don't think. I think Bronny does undrafted. Maybe he goes to LA Lakers. Maybe goes to the G League. We'll find out. Yeah.
Yep, that's all I got, man. I just want to see. We'll see what happens with Bronny James, man. Obviously, that's kind of the most hype here, but we got plenty more picks too. We'll see some late round guys here go. See if there's any cool situations. Probably touch on those next week when we're back on. But yeah, that's episode 4, man. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Love all the comments, man. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Disco, Daniel, everybody else that was in here that's watching live. Come see us next week. We'll be back next Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We will have a special guest for you next week. We'll see y'all then.
Yeah, next week might be the game show. We might be every first Thursday. We're trying to make the game show, bring it back once a month. If you remember that, it was a lot of fun. If you don't, come join it. I think contestants for that. We'll be talking MLB, looking at the All-Star break, little football as well. All right, take care. We'll see you next week.